Welcome, everybody. We're just going to give everyone a second to get logged in. This is Julie here. I'm the director over at MilSpouseFest, and I'm really excited today to announce our next MSF cast. And we are talking about Military Saves Month. I know some of you might now we've got all the participants. I see the number just jumped. So everyone that is here is ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and do my screen share so we can get this party rolling. And we're ready to, all right, slideshow. Every time I do this, it takes me like a minute to get all the buttons going right. So forgive me. All right, it's not showing the right link, but I'm gonna try to see what happens. And slideshow. Do you guys see it now? Give me a thumbs up if you see my MSF cast. Awesome. So we have a fantastic graphic designer on our team. How lucky are we? Military Saves Month. This will be recorded. So if you are here today and you know a friend that it would benefit from this, then please, you'll be able to share this YouTube link with them when we get that out next week. It is my pleasure to introduce two fantastic speakers today, but I'm going to start with JJ Montanaro of USAA. He is a relationship director and he is also a certified financial planner. JJ, do you want to say a few words as we kick this off?
That's great. Thanks, Julie. It's great to be here. Great. Looking forward to hearing Justin talk about it, because as we prep for this, one of the things that you said and Mary and Maria said is, holy cow, I didn't know all that stuff was there. So I'm excited to hear about this, a great resource. It's National Financial Capability Month, along with Military Saves Month. So they all kind of fit together, and it's a great time to be talking about how to really turn the corner on your finances. So thanks for having me, Julie.
Thanks, JJ. And thank you so much for making that connection to me and MilSpouseFest with Justin Hall. Justin is with the DoD Office of Financial Readiness, and he's going to talk to us and share some fantastic resources, and one of which that I just recently found out about. I think you told me it was launched in 2020, right? MilSpouse Money Mission. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you, Julie and JJ. So I want to thank MilSpouseFest for the invitation to share these resources. You know, I don't want people to go, oh my God, I didn't know that was there. I want you to, to know about it. So thanks for this opportunity. Up front, I do have to provide a disclaimer. So that my participation in this webcast does not imply an endorsement of MilSpouseFest or any of its sponsors by the Department of Defense. And the views expressed are my own and are not necessarily reflect those of the department. So thanks for letting me to get to do that. So where would you like to start?
So I really think that this website, this MilSpouse Money Mission, is fantastic. And I would love for you to screen share that and kind of walk through some of the top highlights. And then the folks that are online, you guys can go ahead and type in the chat and we'll read those out and we'll just see where the conversation takes us. How's that sound?
Well, that sounds great. So, all right, so let me make the technology leap with a share screen, and so let me get back to the home page here. So can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our MilSpouse Money Mission website. So this is a DoD owned and operated website, and we got a great team that's behind all our resources. We've got a lot of military spouses on the team, a lot of former military spouses, former veterans and/or spouses, and a lot of military members. And in addition to that, many of our team members are nationally certified in financial counseling and planning and all sorts of really great credentials. So we built this website and we focused on taking account some inputs from our spouses. So let me just give you a quick navigation here. Of course, you can kind of see our menu up at the top. We've designed this so that you've kind of got a two-track navigation. So you'll see here the different types of the financial life cycle topics, from your goal setting to major purchase funding colleges, all the way down to planning your estate, retirement. And then the other navigation in our Mil Life milestones is really aligns with our military financial literacy training that our service members get. And so anytime you have a new child or you get married, go on a deployment, come back, there's military training for our service members. And we've aligned the resources here to also be topical to match with that. One of the things, as I kind of mentioned, that we really want spouses' input, and we, as we try to work to build the community of our spouses, we have this Mil community site. So I'm going to kind of just quickly show you what we have here. We've gotten a lot of inputs, so some great photos and some stories and tips of just some financial challenges, but also just life challenges. We have a shared community and a shared experience, and so it's just great that a lot of the spouses are sharing what they've learned. So often, whatever we're going through, there's usually some other family, that's going through something similar, and so we can learn from each other and also just support each other.
Yes, Justin, you say that spouses are our own best resource. So I definitely appreciate that. And didn't you tell me you also have a military spouse on your team?
Oh, yes, we do. Well, we've got a couple, but for example, we've got a Marine Corps spouse who's she works at, she's stationed and works for us long distance from Iwakuni, Japan. And several others, and like I said, and many former spouses that as we all kind of understand the lifestyle of the military. It is April, and it is Financial Capability Month, as JJ mentioned, but in addition to that, it's also Month of the Military Child. And one of the resources that we have is our Mil Kids section, and I'm clicking on that, waiting that to pop up. And so for the Month of the Military Child, we're promoting all our resources on ways to help teach your kids about smart money habits, and get them started early, and so they can help avoid those ones where they go, boy, if I only knew this way back when, which I often say. So you can see our whole menu here, but just click on these age appropriate tips. We have a lot of great videos, and these are, I really like the style and content of these videos, as they're those dry erase board style videos. As someone's talking, you get these graphics that show up really quickly, very engaging. We have a section where if you just want to, depending on the age of that your kids might be, you can select the different tips and activities you can do. So I'll pick 16 to 19 for the ages. And you see the money concepts, suggested activities. I want to point out this video down here. This is our latest one we just put on the website a couple of weeks ago. It's kind of showing about the power of compound earnings. So just kind of our latest one as we're promoting that this month.
Well, I really appreciate the fact that this goes past 18, because we know our young adults that are still living at home. We talked about this as we prepared for this. But yeah, because they're not really fully out of the nest at 19 oftentimes. So it's good that you guys have resources that run the whole gamut.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've got a couple of college kids myself, and they're still military ID card holders, and still part of that's always part of the family, but part of the military family. Absolutely. So one of the things that there's lots of resources, and I'm showing off some of the navigation. But if you have a particular topic you're interested in, and so I know we were talking about some college savings, so you can just search your topics, and of course the top search will come up first. So you see Fun College, but then you'll see just some other stories that we have that are connected. And I'll just quickly just kind of show just kind of some of the deeper level materials that we have. So like funding college, learn and earn more. And so we'll just kind of break down just ways to pay for college, use some of the different options, 529, prepaid, opportunities for the post 9/11 GI Bill. It's one of the things that when we really look at this, one of our focuses from our office is to have accurate factual, unbiased materials. And so we really stay away from, direct advice that you must do X or Y, and really more provide like, here's the pros and cons, here's ways to make choices, here's to understand the situation, because personal finance is personal, and every family, needs to tailor it to their goals and to their needs. And so it's really understanding, a topic, and so then you can apply it. Off to the side, you see we've got some other resources. So saving for college, and
This is a big question that people ask when they have a kid, right away. So I love that you have this on here, because you've got like, okay, what do you do when they're going off to college? But like, how does it work when you're just starting off? And we were fortunate to be able to start 529 plans when they were like babies. And then I kind of like put it on autopilot and forgot about it, right? So
absolutely. I mean, actually, the grandparents, started a plan when the kids were born. They like put a little bit of money in, and again, we just set it and forgot it, so to speak. And when we go to pay for college, we're like, hey, thanks, grandparents, for paying for an entire year of college. And they were like, really? It was that much? And it's just one of the things, starting early, really paid off for us. And so, so it's, as you see through the advantages and disadvantages, so you can just kind of figure out what works well for your family. So let me just take a pause from the shared screen.
Awesome.
I can go back if there's anything you want to look at.
Maria has shared a bunch of resources in our chat. So Maria, if you could go ahead and put that in the Hoova chat as well, that would be fantastic. You probably already did. I just don't have it on that screen. So this way you guys can like copy these links over as a way this is how you can engage with MilSpouse Money Mission on their social media and on their website after the fact. So yeah, we were talking about 529 plans. For those of us who are a little more on the seasoned side of being spouses, the rules have changed a lot over the years. So actually somewhat for the better, a little bit more flexible now. You can actually use some of it for education before you go off to college now. So
yeah, absolutely. And you kind of see from the advantages, disadvantages. 529s are state managed plans, so it'll vary from state to state. And as our service members and families move around, it's just something to just make sure that you're checking on how your state might treat those plans. In addition to the MilSpouse Money Mission website, we do have some other resources that, if you're interested, I'd be happy to to give a quick tour of.
Awesome. Yes, I would love for you to share some more information about that. What other resources you have on your website? One of the things that people ask a lot about is like how the savings for getting ready for their PCS, and we're in PCS season now. So you want to talk about that? That would be good.
Sure. What I'll do is I'll just kind of switch over to our FinRed website. So we're the Office of Financial Readiness. And so in addition to MilSpouse Money Mission, which is really focused on our spouses, we have our FinRed website, our financial readiness. And this, and we included those links to these websites. And so this has a lot of similar topics on it, but it's not all the same info. I mean, the information is complementary between the two websites, but we understand that spouses have a different perspective, and in many cases, the spouses are the financial managers for the family. And so we think about deployments. And so, a service member getting ready for deployment has certain, things to get ready financially, getting their documents in order, and so that they're ready to deploy, but also the spouses, as they're staying back home, making sure everything is still running and managing, maybe taking on some additional responsibilities in the family finance. And so that's really where the MilSpouse Money Mission is helping to focus on that perspective. And so the Office of Financial Readiness, our FinRed website, provides again different topics, and we just make sure that that we're not overlapping identical. So you go to the best websites, you're going to see complementary information. I mean, they do say this, the same, factual information, if you get to, about how to do emergency fund or whatever. So
Yes, that emergency fund is exactly what people need to be focused on this month, right? With Military Saves Month.
So I just did a quick PCS search, and so I just grabbed one of one. So one of our resource estimated travel costs for a PCS move. It popped up. Sorry, I'm gotta get my navigation here. Sorry, I think I closed one of my windows on you.
No, take your time.
So you just see a PCS video discussion guide. We got articles, the continuation pay, financial worksheets, permanent change of station downloads. So just about, well, not just about any topic that you're interested, we can have something to look at. One of the things that I do want to point out right here that's on our website is our Sense mobile app. So if you're on the go, you can download Sense to your phone. And one of the things that we've looked to put in here is we've got a self-assessment, so you can kind of just look at some of the see where you are in your financial situation, and have the self-assessment kind of track along with what you're doing. It's got calculators, tailored content, micro learning, and it's really looking at there's some games in there, so engaging interactive elements to use as well. And this is available on the App Store and the Google Play Store for free. And just a reminder to put in that $sign that's part of the name. So when you're searching for it, you need to put in the $sign.
That's really cool. I'm actually was not familiar with this app either, so I will definitely have to download this and take a look at it.
So those are our two main websites that we have.
So one of the things that we hear a lot of from spouses is maybe they're just getting started and they're not really sure where to go, and they're working on their budget, but they have a few more questions. What would you suggest for them?
Well, absolutely. So of course, our websites are very do-it-yourself tailored, of your own interest in finding some information. And so, it's one place to look. But one of the things that is a great benefit for the Department of Defense that I believe is a wonderful benefit is our financial counselors. And so, the commercial world, people hire their financial advisors part of their team to help them out. And DoD, we have the financial advisors available. So we've got over 700 financial counselors worldwide that are at installations. And if you are geographically remote and you're not near one of those installations, on the Military OneSource website, you can do online counseling sessions as well. And they're all nationally certified, highly qualified individuals. And they're on your team. They're there to help you walk through your financial plans, your goals, help you get set up, so they can get you from the basics. Just help you walk through like how to track, build a spending plan, how to establish emergency fund, those type of things. But it's not just for someone who's just a beginner or somebody who might be struggling. I mean, even if you're a savvy financial individual and you have feel very comfortable with it, there's still a great resources for more advanced concepts or to just get a second opinion. So I definitely encourage people to visit your family readiness center and make an appointment with a financial counselor.
Well, that's great. I haven't ever taken advantage of that myself because I actually was a volunteer when I was a little younger with the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. So I'm familiar with their free services, but this is great too. So whichever way you go, just get the help and get the plan. So they could help like the whole life cycle, right? So if it's saving for a baby or saving for a first house or education issues or whatever. So like you can talk about separate different goals, right? Retirement.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, and that's really where they start, is they want to learn and understand where you are, where you want to go, what your goals are. I mean, it really starts around just your life goals. I mean, and then the money piece, then kind of comes as part of, building that financial plan. But it's definitely to, help you get where you want to be. Are you, your retirement horizon age 67, or is your retirement horizon shorter? And, or, family vacations, other things that you want to put in. They can help you kind of walk through things to think through. Again, it's the educational piece to make sure that you have all the tools and you can weigh the decisions. And they're a part of the team to help you as the CEO of your financial family.
I love that, CEO of the financial family. That's great. Yeah, we have a term that we use in the in the Navy for that sort of thing too, on the Navy side of things. I like that you mentioned the savings for vacation too, and also for other fun things, right? Because it's not always about like it's important to budget for those fun things in your life. So I like that you mentioned that, because I was focused on those other, maybe not always as fun or new car or, what have you. I don't see any other questions in the chat right now. So I would really love to bring JJ back on, and we're going to talk about our savings pledge that they're running for Military Saves Month. So JJ.
All right, I'm back. That was great. And again, I think a lot of people out there, whether they're watching it right now with us or watching it down the road via the email or YouTube or what have you, are just surprised that Justin, that resource is out there. And you didn't get a chance to do it, but I was kind of browsing around there before, as I was getting ready for this, and I watched. I can't even remember which site it was on, but it was a series of car buying videos, and really good videos, well done, funny, and but really makes it easy to pack in great information for folks. So hats off to you guys for great work on all that. That's exciting. And I would just add, from my perspective, there's so much stuff out there. If you Google something, you'll get tens or hundreds of different pages of stuff. So accurate and factual like that, but also safe as you're trying to figure out, okay, what's real, what makes sense. And so love what you guys have done on that front. Good stuff. All right, so I'm off my podium, Julian.
So do you want to talk about the pledge?
Yeah. So I think when we were talking about Military Saves Month, as a vehicle to get you headed in the right direction, it all is based on taking the pledge, and the idea that, hey, if I take this pledge, what the pledge means to me is going to be different from what it means to you or my neighbor. But there it is right on the screen. I pledge to save money, reduce debt, build wealth over time. But really, that last sentence is the powerful one. I'll encourage my family and friends to do the same. And so we always say in the financial planning world, hey, it starts with a goal. So you talked about vacations and fun stuff. Maybe that's your goal, and maybe part of this is saying, hey, we're going to start saving $50 a month into a vacation fund or whatever it might be. But it does start with this goal. And so this is a great month to sit down and talk to your significant other and decide, okay, what is it that we're trying to accomplish? What do we want to do? And it could be getting out of debt, assessing where you're at and figuring out a plan of attack to knock out that debt. It could be saving for next year's vacation. It could be building that transition fund because you're getting ready to leave the service and you need to make sure that transition is as smooth. But there are as many goals out there as there are us, and so just the key thing and the first step is really to get started. And I truly think that that's the hardest step. But sometimes being able to tap into resources like we've just talked about is a way to really ignite some fires and to bring some ideas to you, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So I think, I don't know if you have those slides, but it was funny. I was thinking about this particular month, or it used to be Military Saves Week, and again, it's all tied together, the Financial Capability Month. But I've written about it so many times, and so I sent you a laundry list of, hey, here's some different stuff that we've talked about in the past that might be helpful. But again, I think it starts with having that conversation. You guys said CEO. I would say CFO, and
Sure.
sometimes military spouses by default are thrown into that role whether they want it or not, because as Justin said, deployments come up and all of a sudden, hey, you've got the ball, and what are you going to do? You're going to either drop it or run with it, and most of the time you guys run with it. That's what you do. So I think having the resources to be able to run fast and efficiently is important.
Yes, I do have those slides and I can get those back up here so we can like go through a couple of these
The other thing, while you're doing that, I'll just say one thing that came to mind as you guys were talking that really I think captures the spirit and the power of military spouses everywhere was having to do with the 529 plan of all things. So you're talking about a 529 plan, saving for college, and I was at an event. I don't remember if it was MilSpouseFest event, but I remember the lady talking with me, and she was like, yeah, I started using a 529 plan before we had our child. I'm like, wow, that's good. So starting early, I'm always about starting early, but with the 529 plan, you can change the beneficiary. So this particular spouse had started saving for college before they even had the baby. I'm like, holy cow.
Wow, that's really on top of it. So we've talked
Yeah.
a lot about the MilSpouse Money Mission. What did you mean by look for the signs?
Oh yeah, so there I was talking about signs you need to take the pledge, and what could they be? Hey, maybe you and your spouse are arguing about money. Maybe you've got more month than you have money, so the period between those pay periods is too long, and you're running out of money. Maybe it's the old adage, the golden rule that we call it in personal finance: you're spending less than you earn. Well, maybe that's not you. So arguments, just these things that just would kind of motivate you to say, maybe we should take a look at this, because the only time we talk about money is when things are in the tank. And so Military Saves Month, National Financial Capability Month are an opportunity maybe to look at yourself and figure out, okay, hey, let's move forward and not backwards.
I think what you said earlier about like not knowing where to get started and just taking that first step. There's so many great options to set things up on automatic pilot. So if you're the service member, they have those allotments that you can do, and you can have money just right off the top go into a savings account. You can start small with $50 a month, $25 a paycheck, right? So I think that's what generally they say. If you haven't done that yet, get your emergency savings plan built up.
Yeah, that was the idea behind that last bullet there: save the first dollar.
There you go.
Because ultimately, if you set up those allotments, you set up those automatic transfers, you contribute to the TSP right off the bat. That money is before it sits in your checking account, it's going off to do good work, right? But if you wait until the end of the month, the end of the pay period, and say, okay, if there's anything left, then I'll save it. I'll put it in my emergency fund. I'll put it in my IRA. I'll do these different things. That's typically a recipe for disaster, at least in terms of savings, because there's always stuff we can do with money. And if we wait till the end, I'd probably find a big fat zero there waiting for us.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So you're talking about TSP here. You said in general and in a tax-free zone, and then the Roth TSP. And I know about the Roth TSP. Not everybody maybe does. So would you explain what you mean about using the TSP then when you're also in the tax-free zone?
Yeah. So at a high level, I mean, the idea behind Roth is that you're going to pay your taxes today and put after-tax dollars into the Roth TSP or Roth IRA. So, for example, with the traditional TSP, if you put money in that traditional TSP, that money won't show up in terms of taxable on your W-2. Now, with the Roth TSP, normally it would. And so that's the idea of you're paying or you're contributing with after-tax dollars. But if you're in a tax-free zone, a combat tax-free zone, then all of a sudden that money is coming in. You're not paying tax on that anyway. And the ability to take that money that you're not paying tax on, put it in the Roth TSP that could grow for decades, and ultimately have access to the money you put in plus all that growth. Justin was talking about compound returns, compound earnings. Be able to pull all of that out potentially tax-free, that's a huge opportunity. So when people want to save for retirement while they're while they're deployed or while they're in a tax-free zone, to me, it's a no-brainer to look at that Roth.
I didn't think about that. Like he's already doing the Roth and he is deployed. So I was like, oh, I'm actually saving twice is what you're telling me.
Accidental excellence, right?
Yeah, I didn't know how smart I was, JJ. I'm just kidding you.
Yeah.
And then we talked about this a little bit when we talked the last time. And I don't think that was on here, but there is a program for service members who are deployed, the savings deposit program, right?
Yeah, that's another opportunity. Where else can you get a 10% in what's in essence a savings account? Even with interest rates popping up like they are today, nowhere near that. So savings deposit program, go check that out. I'm sure there's resources right on what we've been talking about today, as far as being able to understand that. If you were to click on deploy on one of the sections in the FinRed site here that Justin was talking about, go to the DFAS website and learn more about it. But definitely another one of those opportunities when you have potentially higher income because you got additional pay and allowances, lower taxes, and so that can all be beautiful as long as you have a plan to capture that. Because like we were talking about with the pay yourself first, I mean, if you don't have a plan, you'll figure out something to do with that money, and it probably won't be as productive as it could be.
Absolutely. So one of our comments here in the chat, it's inspiring me to start saving for my toddler's future college or trade school. Great.
See, well, all right, we're done. We won.
We've done our job, right? Well, and what I love is the comment doesn't just say saving for college. It also includes trade school, because not everyone, I mean, we've got to have a society that we can support all things, right? So
yeah, and ultimately, if you save the money, you're going to have flexibility and options. And that's what I always say, even about retirement, is there's a lot of people that really don't have a vision of, settling down in a rocking chair or playing golf. They plan on being engaged forever. Whether or not they'll be able to do that is a different question. But the reality is, if they take or make the effort to do the savings, to contribute to the TSP, then all they're going to have is flexibility to create whatever it is they want. And so that's what we want.
awesome. Now you say here, teamwork makes the dream work. And so for those of you who don't know, JJ has a fantastic segment that he does in our full MilSpouseFest events. And I'm just going to drop a little plug here for our event on April 28th. If you don't live in the National Capital Region, you can still register to attend that hybrid event. And he does a financial factor fiction. And one of his questions he's asked recently has been about like how spouses communicate with each other. And so I think that that's sort of what you're getting at here with the teamwork makes the dream work comment. Like you've got to have a plan and work it together, right?
Yeah, exactly. Our previous, maybe it was 2 CEOs ago at USAA, he'd always put this slide up on the when he was talking, and it was a rowboat, and everybody but one person was rowing in one direction, and obviously that throws things off. And when it comes to budgeting, saving, investing, spending, you've got to be in the same sheet of music, and that's the idea. That's what I hope is the takeaway from this whole month, is that people just do a little bit of introspection and have some conversations that drive better actions, better decisions, and at least aligned behaviors.
Awesome. So also, I love this, your kids are watching. So,
do as I say, not as I do. That doesn't work, right? I mean, if you think about what you do with money, or frankly, any other aspect of life, a lot of that comes from how you grew up and what your parents did. So my only point there was simply, hey, we're setting an example every day, whether we like it or not. And it's not necessarily just what we say, but it's what they see.
absolutely. And it starts from a very young age. So definitely kids model parents' behavior. So, and another plug for those resources on the website on the MilSpouse Money Mission, there were age appropriate things starting at their age 3, which is fantastic. I think we've talked enough about the mapping out a plan of attack.
Yeah.
We've gone to that many times now. So, but we did mention this a little bit, but what do you want to share a little bit more about the saving for something and be purposeful comment?
Yeah, you really said it. I mean, you said, hey, it doesn't have to be just retirement, some goal that's 40 years off and is vague and ambiguous. It could be a trip to Orlando next summer, or it could be a down payment on a house down the road, or even though you have a VA loan, you probably need some cash to be able to move into a house with to put curtains in there and what have you. But anyway, so my thought is if there is a goal, starting back talking about those goals, if you have something you're saving for, you'll be much more motivated to do it. And so that's what that was all about. Hey, I'm saving for these various things, and I write about it and I talk about it all the time. But there's a column I wrote a few years ago, and it was all about vacations. We were saving for, at the time, we were saving for a river cruise. And a couple of years ago, we actually did it. But all I have to do is go in and change the name of whatever it is we're saving for, and I can, refresh that column, because we have savings accounts with different trips or different things that we're saving for. We've nicknamed those savings accounts using those goals. And I always say it's really more difficult for me to pull money out of those accounts when I look at it and it says Ireland trip. Well, I don't really want to pull that money out, because that's for the Ireland trip. So I think the purposeful part will really drive, again, a better result.
Awesome. I love this comment in the chat, JJ. My daughter got her first job this past year and she opened up a Roth IRA. So that is something really important to tell our youth, our teens, when they get their jobs. Like, this is something that I didn't start until I was well into my 20s. And some jobs offer 401ks now before you're 21. So that's really smart.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. Go ahead, Justin. Sorry.
All right, I was going to jump in on that. I just that I got my two kids in college, I'd mentioned, and so our college gift, one of our college gift was to gift them some Roth IRA money. So so we match their earnings, because their summer money they use their spending through college, whatever. But we're able to provide some of that money to get into the Roth. Just understanding that importance of starting early and getting them on the right path. So I definitely see that as an important thing for our kids to understand, and just that getting that conversation started, normalizing conversations about money. I mean, my kids know, like, oh, he's going to talk money, because it just because once you break that barrier, then it's easier to talk about it. And it's just, there's just a stigma around money and finances in general. And so, we're really just looking for ways to try to break that down and encourage it that it's okay to, talk about it. And again, but, talk about it with, your spouse, talk about it with your kids. And I think more of those conversations just allow you to think through it more and normalize it, and that there's a lot going on in the personal finance space. So, just taking one piece at a time, kind of I like to think of like a 1% improvement, a little bit at a time. And that's how you kind of get there.
Knowledge is power. And if we don't talk about these things, like the dinner table conversations, then that's how we get our youth engaged and being better for that next generation. And there's, I'm sure you've seen this isn't really military related per se, but several states actually have added into their curriculums, financial education is required. Where I live here in the state of Virginia, they added that into their curriculum. They had the students have to take a class in high school on personal financial management before they can get their diploma. So,
I mean, when you think back to all the stuff you've done, I mean, to me, if I think of the most impactful class I may have ever taken, and my apologies to all those that have taught me before, was typing, right? So when I was doing typing class, I'm still using that regularly. And I think this is the same thing. I saw Florida had also done the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's also hearing it more than once. I mean, because you get it into curriculum, whatever, and it could be different learning styles. And so hearing, you can hear about a Roth and go, I think I understand it. And then if you hear it a different way, so sometimes people relate to, a video connects with them, a one-on-one conversation, or reading, or there's just different learning styles. And so really trying to get those out. And it's one of the things that we're trying to do is just change the style and types of our information, so it's not just all articles to read, but information, graphics, calculators, videos, different type of media, because people have different learning styles.
I appreciate that. And I'm just going to give a plug here for our MilSpouseFest community Facebook group. So any of our attendees on here, make sure you're in there. If you've got questions about that, drop them in make a post about it, to chat with us. And if we can't answer your question, there's a lot of other Facebook groups for military families that I can plug you in with. So we're pretty connected here in this space. I want to give you both like a huge thank you for taking the time out of your day today to bring this conversation and share all these resources with our community. We love being able to highlight and amplify these free resources for military families. It's fantastic. Got another comment here in the chat. I took 3 different classes being able to graduate that involved learning about things that her son did. So that was cool. We gave a little incentive to people to come today, even though it was a free event. We still want to make sure people come and access it. And we're giving out 2 codes to our MilSpouseFest merch store. So $25 should be able to, you can pick a t-shirt, you can pick the water bottle. Jamie Robles and Nancy Denny, you're our winners today. So look for an email with our code from us. So thanks for being here and sharing the good word. We will have this out on YouTube within a couple of days, and then we'll put this out in our newsletter next week. So if you enjoyed this, please share this out with your friends. It would be great. And thanks again, Justin and JJ.
Thank you, Julie.
Great. Hey, thank you very much.